Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. Today, I'm your host, Alan, and I am delighted that you chose to join us today. So I know that you have enjoyed your Fourth of July weekend, and this is the middle of the summertime. So I encourage you to go to our website, CSL Charlotte, and you and I encourage you to put in a prayer request, subscribe, and to like what we're doing. So let me tell you a little bit about who we are. The Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte is a new thought community based on the teachings of the science of mind. The science of mind was written by author or Dr. Ernest Holmes. Dr. Holmes was a man on a mission. He combined all of the wisdom and truths from the world's religions and spiritual paths and created a fresh, new way for us to look at ourselves and how we fit into this world. And and if this sounds really good for you, I'm really glad that you're here today. So let me tell you a little bit what we do here. We are a diverse and openly affirming community. So what that means is we honor people from various backgrounds, like ethnicities, sexual orientations, and physical distinctions, including disabilities. So I found out recently that July is Disability Pride Month, and it was created in honor of the Americans with Disabilities Act being passed on July 26, 1990. So we so we all recognize that we are all a tapestry of various backgrounds, and we are all part of the same divine life that is within each and every one of us. So there is no physical distinctions. There is no disease or disabilities. It's just we're just all one. So, and you don't have to, and we're glad that you're here. You don't have to leave your philosophies or nature knowledge. Because here at CSL Charlotte, we combine the wisdom from all kinds of spiritual literature, like the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita, the Tao Te Ching, the Dhammapada, just to name a few. So, so we all recognize that we are all powerful beings. And our mission is to spread this message out that we all are leaders, and we mentor and create new leaders. And we spread this empowering message out to each and every one of us in the world that we recognize our own divine light within us. So if that sounds really good to you, then I also invite you to go to our weekly Tuesday consciousness meetings. And there you get to experience it just for yourself, where we all are supporting each other in our own spiritual growth and to illuminate each other. So, uh, so before I pass the mic over, I have a quote I would like to share with you that goes along with today's theme. Be at least interest, be at least as interested in what goes on inside you as what happens outside. If you get the inside right, the outside will fall into place. And that is written by Eckhart Tolle in his book, The Power of Now. So now I invite our fabulous, radiant Reverend Rosedale Jones right here to come join us. So take it away.
Ooh, I am screaming inside, everybody. When you get the inside right. Go, Alan. That was a quote of all times. Fabulous, Mr. MC, Mistress, Masters of Ceremony. I thought that was phenomenal. Thank you. It really hit home right away for me. Good. Now you're starting to get me revved all up and everything. So to all our listeners, okay, to all of our YouTube listeners, to the virtual community, to everybody wherever you are, thank you for showing up at CSL Charlotte and finding us however you did. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living Charlotte. This is the Mind, Body, Spirit Center. So today, our attention is going to go into knowing that the way out is the way in. So with that all being said, we start our Sunday celebrations with an opening prayer. And it's an affirmative prayer. Remember, it's affirmative. And so it sets the tone to keep us affirmative. So leading us in prayer today, we got Jerry Campbell, aka Groovy G. And she has educated herself on the way out, the way in over time since she's been in this community. She is definitely on, what do I call it? Chomping at the bits because she's so powerful. So let's hear if her prayer indicates whether she knows the way out is the way in. And then if you want to understand it better on how to figure out how the way out is the way in, then put in a prayer request and go to our website right now and put it in and read it every day when you get it. Because if you don't put it in, because you have to put it in, you got to choose to do that, because this is how Mo, our spiritual practitioner, gets to send you a prayer to your inbox. So Groovy, please let it rip.
Good morning, everyone. Let's sit here, relax, and enjoy the Spirit of God as He guides us, fills our spirits, helps us to learn the way out is the way in, helps us to work together, helps the day to be beautiful. We know that the day is beautiful. We know that everything is all well and good. And so it is.
That's my girl. And I always said that about Groovy. She is a woman of little words, but so much power. Oh my God, that was a powerful one there, Groovy, I tell you. So now let's see here. We have our reader, Melissa Spiegler. Now, Melissa is always loving to speak, and she is one of those people that started here too a long time ago with us, that even helped me in the beginnings of the days. But she's still here and she's in California. So let Melissa tell us how the way out is the way in. But now what you got to do is know that she knows the way out is looking in. Now, do you think she knows that? Let's hear. So listen to her reading and you'll recognize why the way out is the way in. And after Melissa's reading, listen to this song, A Change Is Gonna Come. I said gonna come, not gonna, by Jennifer Hudson. Now, when a change is on the horizon, you're gonna intuitively feel why the way out is the way in. Melissa, make it do what it do.
Thank you, Reverend Rosedale. Yeah, I love this title, The Way Out is the Way In, and it's so true. And this morning's reading is Your Journey Within, written by our own Reverend Rosedale. The Path to True Clarity and Growth. The concept, the way out is the way in, emphasizes the importance of introspection and spiritual connection. By turning inward and engaging in a dialogue with our inner spirit, we access the core of our being, where our true decisions and understanding reside. That's why the way out of our problems, worries, and distressful things comes from going within. Spiritual practices enhance the process, allowing us to authentically listen and speak to ourselves. Through the inner conversation, we discover deeper truths and solutions, often more effectively than seeking answers outside of us. Some practices we can use in overcoming challenges by going within some would be journaling and reflection, discovering inner strength and resilience, dealing with doubts and fears, and integrating spirituality with everyday life. Above all, make guided meditations and visualization exercise some of your best allies. Now it's clear, the path to clarity and resolution lies within, making the journey inward essential for true spiritual personal growth and transformation. Now here's a quote from Reverend Rosedale. There's joy in knowing the power we have within us has been in us since the conception in our mother's womb. And so it is.
If you don't expect change today, you need a checkup from the neck up. We're going to start with a short centering. Relax your eyes and actually put your eyes in your lap, or just do whatever you need to do to remove those distractions. They are out the way now. And now breathe in really, really deep as long as you can. And then as you slowly exhale, you gotta love those metaphors. You know, when she first started out the song, she said she was born by the river and she's been running ever since. You know that's what we do. And see, the words, when she got to the point where she said, I go to my brother and said, help me, please, and ask him questions to how to help her, she said he winds up knocking her back down. Well, that's a wake-up call. And when I know that if going to people and looking outside, when we need a way out and feeling knocked down, it's time to make a change. So with that being said, that is why the way out is the way in, because this is where your answers are. They don't have it out there. So going in is a way to receive all the thoughts, the help, whatever you need. But you got to be patient. And then here's another thing. When you know a change gonna come, that's when you really understand that the way out is the way in. So when change is on the horizon, you feel it. I'm telling you, just like I said earlier, it's an intuitive. And then you know why. You know what? I really got to help this change along. Because if I go in, I'm out of this mess. Now, you're a choice whether you choose to participate with yourself and incorporate spiritual practices or not, but it's all good. So if you are ready, then know why. You're going to know why today. The way out is the way in. So wiggle your fingers and your toes and integrate your mind, body, and spirit. And as you float your eyes open, make sure you look around your space, fully present and in the knowledge that you are here today. And allow something in your in your area to connect you back to this present moment, while I decide to do a gratitude moment. And I thank you, Alan. That was fabulous for doing your MC. But that quote, you hit it, bam, slam dunk, slam dunk. And then she comes with that song. And then Melissa comes with that reading. Oh my goodness. Melissa, that reading you had was boom, boom, boom. And then Groovy, you did that prayer so powerfully and nice and easy. I like it. And then that reading, The Journey Within, it just tells us exactly why the way out is the way in. That's what it is. And here's what I know. The way out is the way in is all about having this profound concept in our lives. And it really resonates with the spiritual journey that we're all on today. Most of us are on this spiritual journey and we acknowledge the spiritual journey. And a change had to come for me because I would not be here. Everything in my life would not exist right now as peacefully as it does unless I followed those changes. But a change gonna come. And my shift from my traditional religious beliefs to a more inward way of life had been a real game changer for me. That wasn't the way to go. I had to make that change. And so what I mean by the way out is the way in. If you're used to looking out for everybody else to tell you what to do here and there, or maybe you don't know, then you know what? You got to look for some other way. You got to change that idea of looking out to looking in. See, I find situations and I find solution to them. And then I find out that, I had it all along. That's where things happen from me, for me, and through me. You know, it's so fascinating to me how my journey shifted from looking outward and then turning inward. I got to say that again because I was one of those people who thought there was some God up in the sky, a God figure and he was He was pulling the strings. And if I wasn't behaving, I was going to get struck down with something. Or if I wasn't doing the right thing, then something wasn't going to go right for me. And that thing people say, well, it goes around, comes around. Honey, I beg to differ. But here's the kicker, though. Everything I have ever needed, now that I think about it, has been right here with me from day one. Do you believe that for yourself? Now think about it. Just from the moment we were conceived, we've carried this incredible power within us everywhere we've gone. And where we take ourselves, we're there. So whatever problems you think you experience in the box here, and you say, I don't like it here, I got to get into that box. Baby, you're doing it all wrong. Before you get out of that box, you got to go in here. And then when you go to that box, you're going to be somebody different. You're going to change because the change is going to come, right? And guess what the key to unlocking this change and this thing within us? Just the simple fact of us discovering that the way out is the way in through spiritual practice. Because, it's one thing to tell you the way out is the way in, okay. But you got to do something about it, right? How about spiritual practices? Prayer work. Well, you heard Melissa's reading that I wrote, and she said, spiritual practices enhance the process, allowing us to authentically listen and speak to ourselves. That's what we're doing all day. You think something else is having a conversation. That's you conversing. And then through this inner conversation that we have, we discover deeper truths, deeper solutions to who we are more effectively than we do when we're seeking answers outside of ourselves. When situations throw us these little curveballs and we catch it or we miss it, yeah. When worry decides to creep in, or even when we're feeling stuck, the solution is never out there. It's right here. So we just need to tap into it through practices, spiritual practices, through meditation, through creating spiritual prototypes, and then building mental equivalents. You got to use this or you lose it. That mind. I said something the other day to my group that I was talking to, and I said, you have to start from the mind up. So she said, yeah, well, my mind is a monkey mind. I said, well, that's the first thing you want to do, is you want to stop calling it a monkey. Oh, imagine that. Crafting a new way of speaking to myself. She took that and she took it with love. So imagine us crafting a day in our mind where everything flows perfectly, like that river Jennifer talked about. Well, we didn't hear all those words, but I needed you to know that that's what she said. I was born by the river in a little tent, and just like a river, I had been running ever since, and so have you. So that's why our spiritual prototype is so important, to think about it before you get there. Because everything that's built in this world started in somebody's mind. Walt Disney had this mind about this big, beautiful park. What is it called? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. In Florida. And they got one in California. Disneyland. Disney World. But anyway, he knew that before it was built, how fabulous it was going to be. He's not here today, but it doesn't matter whether you're still here. It just comes when the time is right for it. And all we got to do when we make a spiritual prototype is just keep revisiting it. And then we're constantly reinforcing this spiritual prototype when we create it. And then what's happening? You're programming this GPS in here. And this GPS is what guides us, because we set it to that dial. Wherever you set that GPS, it's going to get you there. Trust that GPS. But you got to take your time. Because remember this, for every time you sit for meditation and every single time you visualize your ideal day or an ideal scenario, the way you want this thing to go down, but every time you even align your thoughts with your deepest desires, you're not just daydreaming, baby. You're actively shaping your wonderful reality from the inside out. Inside, inside, inside. I'm pointing at all this because that's where it's at. It's not out there. So some people believe that the way out is the way in. So they like to seek answers from friends and when they're struggling. But you know what? Your friends, these friends, they offer accolades about how great you are. And they sometimes do it either to shut you up because or they want to make themselves feel good, to look good to you and all that stuff. Or they offer you a false sense of security. But what happens when you crash and burn again? See, there's a sense of security that's really a true one, but it starts with the change from going from out to in. That's where it starts. So going within is indeed the way out. So why search for all the things and solutions outside of us all the time, constantly trying to see where it is, when right in here is all the answers that we can possibly set? And just like I said, the way out is the way in. Here's an example I might use. Say, suppose I love myself some Horace. Horace is always checking on me and talking to me and asking me all these questions or telling me certain things what he's going through. So suppose I want to feel better about myself on a particular day that I'm getting ready to start a progress. So I decide to go to Horace to share a sob story. Oh, nothing's going right for me. And I may think Horace is such an easy person and a good source of confident words. So I'm going to Horace. Well, he may emotionally feed me one day for a few minutes. So then I won't have to look back into me to summon my own power because he's doing it for me. But here's the deal. The more time I spend out there is the more time I'm going to have to spend dealing with those issues that I had too much fear to face in the first place. Meanwhile, and I drift further and further away from my true self. My true self, for real, the Rosedale Jones that I know has learned what she wants. She said she likes to share her spiritual experience as a beacon of light for people seeking more empowering spiritual paths for themselves. Remember, we're not just passive observers in life. We're active co-creators in our reality. I can't tell you how fabulous. I always said, well, I want to be a motivational speaker. I didn't know how that was going to be. And everywhere I go to talk to people, I'm talking on behalf of Spirit CSL Charlotte, but a lot of people say, well, that's good, but I'm not a Zoom person, but that's okay. I'm going to keep doing this because I know that there's so many people that's being touched by me coming to these groups and talking. Remember this, like I said, we are not just these passive people living from day to day. I wake up, I go to home, lily dilly. We are active co-creators in our own reality. That's why the way out is truly the way in. And what a beautiful in here journey it is. Because if you're on YouTube, I want you to know by engaging in spiritual practices, we here at CSL Charlotte, we don't only build our confidence, but we strengthen our faith. We strengthen our faith in that higher power within us. And it guides us. We guide it to tell it what we want to experience. And then we go right on off into a nice creative transformation, or two or three or four. Sometimes I can have a transformation 3 times a month, maybe more. See, we feed our souls with spiritual practices. We cultivate our faith with confidence on these unique journeys that we travel on here in our community, CSL Charlotte. So keep diving deeper. Keep exploring. And more importantly, keep trusting that that inner wisdom in you is the pull that drags you forward. Because truly, the way out is the way in. I have to say that 1,000 times of any situation that you can possibly find yourself in. But you got to try it and you've got to learn to trust the process. Now, I'm truly, truly, truly grateful that I kept diving deeper and learning until I heard that whistle blow for me to change. I tell you, I'm an auditory, kinesthetic, sometimes visual, but the auditory and kinesthetic, powerful for me. And right now, I'm listening to that power within me all the time. I got up the other morning and it said to me, create because I went to bed with a thought that I wanted to make something happen or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden it said create it didn't say spirit, it didn't say a prototype, but whatever it said create something to your favorite day. But what it was telling me, what my spirit and we have a lot of conversation, was telling me was just create a spiritual prototype today. That happens when I'm running out of steam sometimes and don't know which directions. And all of a sudden, I start to realize, go do it. Create that day in your life where everything is going great, just like you want it. You got to see it before you get it. You have to see it before you can seize it. You know, Walt Disney, he did not create that thing without seeing it, that place. This chair had to be in somebody's mind first. Then he took it and put it on paper. The buildings that we live in had to be in somebody's mind first. And then they drew it on a do-ha-ha, blueprint. So that's what happened. They created the day in their life and they saw this building before we did, before it was there. So listen, you got to see sight beyond what I see. You got to take your sight beyond what you see, because that power in us and all of us, we know what's best for us, but we just got to realize I got to go beyond my sight. So what do I do? And what can you do? But what I do is I write it, I experience it, and I be in it. Be in it. That sounds so funny, but that's how I talk. But guess what? When I'm all of that, I'm there. I've seen that day. And now when I look at these people that I work with or talk to and deal with and invite me over to do things for them, it's so amazing that I have already I just found out about a month ago. You know what? This was one of your spiritual prototypes years ago. I said years ago. Just like Walt Disney. He died in the middle of that thing, but he saw it. Power, that imagination, because I'm there in all my glory and happiness when I'm out there looking at what's going on and when I see sight beyond what I see. Sight behind what I see. Think about that. I can proudly tell you this though. All I believe in now is happiness. Happiness is my best friend. And if I get to wake up in the morning and sometimes say to myself, oh, I got a pit in my stomach feeling, I need to fix that. But I used to, let me tell you what happened, used to happen. I used to go with that and get worse and feel worse and feel worse. I don't go with it no more. I hear, see, that's just a habit. The body's used to. Don't worry about that. My actions, just all I know is I got to make sure my actions line up with my commitment. I'm committed to be that person, to share my spiritual experiences, to show people in this world that, oh, baby, let me tell you something. This is so real. I know when, what's that lady's name that tried to run for president? She was talking about love. She was so spot on, Marianne Williams. She was so spot on with it, but the world wasn't ready for it. But you know what? I said, well, maybe I won't be up there on the platform with them liars. But this, I didn't mean to go there. But, but what I learned was, let me tell you something. I am touching lives every day, and I'm aware of it. And I'm grateful that I can do that. So I align my actions with my commitment. So that means the type of people I hang out with are those that are aligned that way. And this approach helps me to sustain my truth, my stability, my endurance, my body weight, my body strength. You see, all of that matters in all of our mind, body, spirit connection by incorporating all of the necessary actions that we need to do. We need to eat all of our macronutrients. We need to move every single day. We need to let our bodies be at ease. We need to find out, what is that feeling I'm having, and breathe into it. So the way out is the way in. Breathe in. And when you speak to yourself, you are in charge of you. When I speak to myself, I say, hey, you must remember, you're in charge of you. So if I don't like something that's about to go down, I'm going to tell me. So I always see my way out, and I get through it from the inside out. So like I said, I know there are going to be days where we're going to say to ourselves, it seems like this situation is going to not go. But just remember, you've been through a lot more than that. And I challenge you today to turn to spiritual practices, to actually turn to some type of prayer work, morning, noon, and night, and get in. Get in. Remember, you're always speaking to yourself, and yourself is always speaking to you. You're guiding each other. The way out is the way in. So reflect on 30 seconds on these words. What I said earlier. Sight beyond what I see. You know what's best for me. Because you got to go in here to see. All right? 30 seconds. Sight beyond what I see. You know what's best for me. That's just a reminder that we don't see all the good in the physical right now. From here, we have to go in here. And shortly, soon enough, it'll start to show up in your physical world. So prepare your mind for whatever comes. So when you are doing that enough, preparing your mind by going within, you don't have to know what's going on yet. You don't have to know that, oh yeah, if I do it, is anything going on? Don't worry about it. Prepare your mind for whatever comes. So when you're ready, that change is going to come. And that's what it's all about. It's about to come your way when you start to prepare your mind. So bring your thoughts into this next song. And this next song is really, really, it should hit you. Please, guys, focus on this song called I'm Gonna Be Ready. Listen to her words. Go with the words. Are you ready? Did you hear that? Sight beyond what I see. I see my flowers over there, but I'm going beyond because it knows, me and it knows what's best for me. And here's the thing, when you surrender going within, when you look back after you surrender, you get off track. So she said, once I surrender, because I don't know if people are listening to words or not, but I know she said, once I surrender, I won't dare look back, because if I do, I will get off track. So we get to prepare our mind for whatever comes, because when it comes, I'm going to be ready. Because sometimes when it comes, you're not ready for it, so you throw it back. Oh, so just go for it, everybody. Boy, you guys, I'm telling you, between each and every one of you, you got this. You got it. That's all I can tell you. This is one powerful team. Boy, I'm just watching the ball go bap, bap, bap. It's fabulous. It's great. So it's birthday time, guys. You know that I don't know your birthday. You know that. I never said I was clairvoyant for you. I'm clairvoyant for me. But just jot down your birthday into the YouTube comment area, or wherever you are, and wherever you are, one day you will see us on Facebook. I can guarantee that. So just jot down your name and date, just that's all you want. And then we will always hold you up. We will always shine the light on your day because that's the day you came to be. And it's very important. My birthday is very important to me. So now it's time to do the big shout outs. And there's this fabulous team that is here every time, every single week. You catch us and you see how seamless it looks. Well, you got to believe it comes from people like Alan. He's our MC. He is my right hand man. He's right here with me every single week. Then we have the person who comes up and gracefully says that prayer and opens up and starts the cells rolling right along with the MC who opens up. And I'm talking about the cells inside of me. These people motivate me. And that's also the prayer person, Groovy, is our spiritual, what do I call her? Spiritual harmony steward. That's what I call her. She keeps everything quiet back there while we're having our thing going on here. And she keeps her consciousness all over it. What's going on? What's that noise I hear? That's the cleanup woman, okay? In other words. So anyway, thank you, Groovy. And thank you again, Melissa, for that fabulous reading, that message that you did, that you always want to read. You go, Rosedale, what is the reading for this week? Or what are you talking about? She's on it. And also, Melissa generally does the spotlighting, but I must say that Michelle got up there and did that spotlighting and helped out with the greeting. Michelle is coming up on in there. So I got to thank you too, Michelle. And Melissa for saying, go for it. Let's you go ahead and do what you do. Because I know Melissa had that other eye looking. So you guys handle our business, right? For CSL Charlotte. And thanks, Mo, for always chomping at the bits, waiting for those emails and sending them out our prayer requests because it is phenomenal. But you know what? One person who wasn't on the platform today, and that's Horace the Bush. Now, Horace is the one that makes sure this whole thing runs like a well-oiled machine. And then Timmy P comes in. He did our announcements today, and he does them so eloquently. But let me tell you something. He's always coming in to bring us into that safe landing. I can be some kind of nervous when things don't look too good. But if I know they're all in place, all of them, I got this. Oh my God, I got that faith and confidence in this team. So thank you, team. I always have to tell you that at the end. It's just fabulous. So before our last song, consider this. This is all about the way out is the way in. And remember that during this week, you're going to find yourself in situations because every single day a situation occurs. Don't try to lie and act like it don't. You just don't make too light of it, honey. But then all you got to do is align yourself with your perfect transformations every single time you see something going awry. Because the way out is truly the way in. And you know that's what we talked about. So don't forget. So when you go in enough, and you will come out of whatever that is you got going on, but you're going to come out smelling like a rose. So before we close out, if you can't find anything or any way out to feel good and you feel all down and out, smile. Because when you move your lips, your emotions change. When you take the corners of your lips and go into a smile, try it. Don't fight with that thing that's bothering you. Smile. Because I want you to look at this group of people here when we sing this last song, smile. It's not the normal. But if these men can get up here and smile like that in a simple little time, we can do it. So remember, you're speaking to yourself and you're your own guide. Let's hear that song, Smile. Uh-oh. Oh, man. If that don't tell you that a simple smile can transform your cells and uplift your spirit, they can turn your sadness into happiness. Looking at those men in the position that they are today, just knowing that that time that they spent with Kirk Franklin, it's a powerful time to see some smiles going on. We can change the world one person at a time. So before Groovy play, oh, so Groovy is about to play us out. Okay, that's right. Okay, now let's do this. Groovy, are you ready? Take care of us, honey.
Oh, just want to thank Spirit for what we have learned, what we have done today. We know that Spirit is always taking care of what we foresee our lives being. We have celebrated, and now we're going to celebrate throughout the week and just enjoy life. We are thanking Reverend Rosedale for that excellent word for what we have learned. We release this out into this to the world, and so it is.
For it. Yeah. I'd be so nosy. I'd be going over there so I can see Groovy when she's praying us out. Well, okay. So now, guys, we're done for today. And it was a fabulous day, I must add, because everybody was in their own place and everybody's doing what they're doing in this world in this moment. And I think it felt so energetic, each one of these songs. So let's go. Closing remarks are going to be such as we wrap up today, our time together was priceless. Remember, you can take heart in knowing that the way out is the way in. And remember, you need a good practice to get you through. The way out is the way in because you can do this. Remember, the universe is constantly supporting us on our journey and you on your journey. So until we meet again, stay focused and focus on the truth. The way out is the way in. And so it is.